everybody? Welcome back to Off the Cuff, a podcast from the Virginia Tech Police Department. We have an awesome guest with us here today. Sir, why don't you introduce yourself to our listening audience?
Oh, hey, glad to be here. Thank y'all for inviting me. I'm Nick Kiser. I work in the Security Center as the lead Security Center representative for the Virginia Tech Police Department. We do a whole host of things for officers in the community, and I'm just glad to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. Tell us. Let's. You know what? We'll get to the Security Center in just a minute. I love the shirt you got on.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about you. What do you want our audience to know about you as a person?
Yeah, I'm from the coal fields of Southwest Virginia, Wise County. I grew up there most of my life. Met my wife. She's from Giles County. We moved up here. I worked 911 EMS for about 5 years. I worked for the Department of Agriculture for about 3-4 years. I've got a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful little babies, 2 and 5, and I spend most of their time with them. And when I'm not doing that, I'm out adventuring in the wilderness of Southwest Virginia.
You work in the security center. That's important. But the real reason for you're here is for your hobby, which one day could be more than just a hobby, right?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
So how long have you worked? Let's start with security center first. How long have you worked there?
So I started in 2018, and I've been there ever since as a security center representative. And about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I took over the lead position. We have about 7 people in there and a couple part-time employees, and
So the security center is 24/7. You always have somebody in there. You can't somebody has to be in that room, right? Regulations require that someone's in the room at all times, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We run VCN and all the equipment for the state. Plus, we forward all phone calls after hours comes into us to the security center for maintenance or if somebody has like a general issue or anything like that.
What's the difference between the 911 center and because we used to have 911 at Virginia Tech, right, in our old police department. What's the difference between the two?
We work like straight with them with almost everything. More emergency calls come over there. We get some emergency calls that we forward over there, but anything that we can help in-house or like anything that we can do there in the security center, we try to do. But we work very closely with 911 Center.
But you're not actually dispatching police officers to calls or detectives?
No. Straight through 911. So.
No detectives to call. And to clarify, the 911 Center for Virginia Tech is a regional center, right, with other agencies, Virginia Tech, Christiansburg, Blacksburg, Montgomery County, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But then you guys, you're just total Virginia Tech in-house.
We're independent, yeah.
Okay, so in addition to kind of these phone calls and everything like that, dispatch and all that, are you guys like some kind of welcome center for people or anything like that? Like someone walks in the police department?
Oh yeah, absolutely. People come in all the time. We do fingerprinting services. We do service gun checks, general information, any problem that you have or something that you think might be stupid. We've heard it before, so we're welcome to try to answer it with you, or we'll find out somebody who knows the answer.
And so, some police departments, smaller police departments, or maybe even the same side police departments, they don't have somebody there 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
They have a buzzer, and then the 911 center will communicate with, an officer come to that location.
Sure.
But here on campus, we have to have somebody there, so student walk-ins and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so, how many staff members work at the center approximately? You're the supervisor, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Yep.
Do you think they could have done better? Do you?
They might have.
No, I always enjoy coming in, and same thing. When you come in, you're always a delight to be around, and you're going to find out the answer if we don't know it. Correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody's super nice and just there for the public and to help people out. That's what we're there for. It's what we get paid for. That's what most of us want to do.
What's the number for the non-emergency to call the 911 center? What's that number?
Yeah, for our security center?
No, for the
911 center.
Yeah, the non-emergency number.
It's 540-382-4343.
And to call the Virginia Tech Police Department for basic information, what number is that?
It's 540-231-6411. And like everybody said, we're staffed there 24/7. So just whenever you have a issue, just give us a call.
He had those numbers just. He's been doing this.
I know him a few.
That was not rehearsed.
A few times.
That was off the cuff right there.
That was off the cuff.
So how do you? What are some of the things that you do? There's a large monitor. There's a big monitors, and so your staff, you and the staff, can watch those monitors. What areas would they be watching? Like intersections, elevators, things like that.
Yeah, we got over 1,000 cameras around campus, and any kind of crime that's committed or anything like that, or like any issues that we see on the camera, we can report to the officers. We work very closely with the officers to try to solve their cases and things like that. We do all that. We do all the the sirens and VT alerts in house there. We do panic burglary alarms. You can submit crime tips through App Armor to us, and we'll get it over to an officer to try to fix the complaint. We do warrants, protective orders, stolen articles, different stuff like that. So we do a whole range of things. After-hour maintenance calls, all kinds of stuff in there. So.
And one of the other things that obviously you help if a detective or an officer needs to look at maybe a hit and run in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Then you can help them with pull up the footage to see if there is footage available, kind of thing. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. We work very close with them. They're smart though. They usually have it for us, but we definitely try to help when we can. So.
The No Hooky Left Behind, the Hooky Ready app. That has a feature where they can text the police department.
Yes,
can you kind of explain that? Where does that texting go for the Hooky Ready app?
Yeah, so it comes into our App Armor computer in there, and we'll take in the complaint and ask you, if you want to speak to an officer, if you just want us to pass it up to a supervisor, whatever you prefer to do, but we could definitely get you transferred over to the 911 center or have an officer speak to you by phone, so it's a good little system. There's anonymous crime reporting on there too, where you can put in a tip or whatnot if you don't want to speak to anybody, and we can try to send an officer out to see what's going on.
Can you ignore that? I mean, like, you're sitting in there and you're doing work. How do you know that the Hooky Ready app, the anonymous crime reporting, comes up to the system? How do you know?
If you've ever watched SpongeBob SquarePants, when the boat horn goes off, there's a giant boat horn that comes across the system, so unless somebody's completely asleep in there, we're going to hear it.
You always hear it. Yeah, it's very, very, very loud, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you have to go to the monitor and you have to respond back to it.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I think it's a great feature.
It is.
What's the most fun job part of the job? If like this comes into the security center, you're like, oh, I love handling this. What do you enjoy the most?
That's a tough one. I've gotten into doing fingerprints here recently. I like doing those. It's pretty fun. Everybody gets to talk to people and get out of the office for a minute. We call it the cave back there because it doesn't have any windows, just for security purposes and stuff like that. But it's nice to get out and talk to people a little bit and just have a little breakup of the day.
Yeah, interesting to talk to people and hear what they're there for.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The thing I like, we have, the officer would have to come from off the street to come in to do the fingerprints, but now the security center, if you have at least two people in the center, one can come and help do fingerprints, correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Everybody should be trained in there now to do them, and it's helped the officers free up them a lot for, real emergencies or something going on that they need to respond to, so we're definitely trying to help with that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think... Throughout the entire year, what do you think is the busiest one day, or if there's a tie, what's the busiest time to be in the security center?
It's football, baby. It's all the time. And
what's that like, the security center?
It's insane. But we're trying to field calls from inside the stadium. We actually have a representative working in the magistrate's office, and I run paperwork for the officers on arrest and different cases like that. We're getting phone calls, where can I park? Hey, this is going on, look at the cameras. So busy day, but we're there for it.
How many do you normally have in the security center on a game day?
At least 2 or 3, and then one at the magistrate, so usually about 4, and then we try to stack up both day and night shifts, because some stuff bleeds over to night or days, how the football games are scheduled, so. But we get to eat for free that day, so that's always good. I like to eat. So.
And it sounds exciting.
It's a good time.
Well, the 911 center as well. We've toured that recently with the VTPD interns, and they staff it as well because they get a lot of 911 calls from inside the stadium. Where they accidentally dial 911 kind of thing, and they have to. So they do the same thing the security center does. I'm sure Blacksburg does too. Maybe Christiansburg. they probably staff their areas as well.
Oh yeah. They send somebody from NRV, and just good people to work with. We work with them a lot. NRV is a good regional center there. Everybody's nice and good at their job over there.
One of the cool things I like about the Security Center now is that we have students that probably a year or so ago it started where they're students here at Tech, and they're looking for a part-time job, and they learn the Security Center and they help fill in, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So it takes a burden off you and the rest of the full-time staff as well.
I mean, it's worked out great, and it gives them a little bit of experience going in, if they want to go into law enforcement or communications or something like that, and it can help them for their future jobs too. So I think it's a good little program.
If any students are listening right now, what kind of people are you looking for? Like, what's the ideal candidate for a part-time security center when that job opens up?
Well, yeah, just somebody that's motivated, who likes to learn. We're flexible with schedules and scheduling and everything like that. And you can get some real-world experience with law enforcement, and it's a good job. We usually work about anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a week, so it's a nice little part-time job. You can work more if you want.
Yeah, recently I think we've had some pretty successful students that I always enjoy working with.
Yeah.
Time there, even though people might be a little bit younger, some of our students are pretty mature and can handle
Absolutely.
the job pretty well.
Yeah.
I think.
Everybody's different, so we found a couple gyms in the rough, so and they're doing a great job. So.
Yeah.
So let's talk about when you're not on campus.
Yeah.
When you're not here. Do you have a podcast as well? Or do you post things about your hobby?
Yeah, I got a TikTok channel. It's mildly popular, and a YouTube channel. It's a little popular getting there. So I do that when I get a chance. Not with my children.
What's that about?
So I do like Appalachian folklore and history, and I go visit places all over Southwest Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee, and we get into some sites. We interview people and just talk about the culture of Appalachia. It's a good time.
I'll be honest. I've watched a couple. I'm not sure if MJ has watched.
Yeah, he's awesome. My biggest supporter.
Awesome.
But I like a lot of them. I like the one where the horseshoes are in the river kind of thing.
Yeah.
The story about that. I like about the Japanese man that traveled around North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and the Appalachian area.
Absolutely.
And what about him? What was his focus for that particular YouTube that you did? You talked a lot about him, so what was that about?
Yeah, I think sometimes people get the wrong impression of Appalachia and stuff in general, through media and stuff like that. But really, Appalachia, all it is just a diverse region that is built by immigrants from everywhere in the country. And this guy was just a Japanese immigrant that come over, and he helped found the Great Smoky Mountains National Park by his advocacy for like nature and plotting out the mountains and taking photographs. So I thought it was really cool because you don't often hear about other cultures and stuff coming over and helping develop this area that we live in.
Do you focus on obviously the Appalachian area is struggling, certain parts of it and things like that. Do you ever focus on what the future is going to be like for this region? Are there things that you're looking at to promote or anything like that?
Yeah, anytime I can find something that I think is positive and somebody's like moving in the right direction with stuff, I like to showcase it or talk to them. I got some stuff in the works coming up that I'm pretty excited about. But yeah, I think this area has a good opportunity to transform itself, and coal is obviously declined, and it's hurt a lot of communities around the area. But I think there's always a path forward, and the people are hardworking people, and they've always found a path forward. So I feel like in the future they're gonna find it too.
Anything else you'd like to say about your hobby? I mean, do you metal detect as well?
Yeah, I like getting out in the rivers when it's hot outside, and we find some cool stuff. Find some boat wrecks and different stuff like that, and it's always fun to find. Mostly find junk though, horseshoes, different stuff like that. I've got like 20 pounds of iron in my house that I need to get rid of, that my wife says I have to get rid of. So,
do you do the magnet thing where you have a magnet and throw it into the river to pull metal out, or do you have that feature? I mean, that's kind of a popular thing that people are doing now.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. I found all kinds of stuff. I found a pretty rare fish spear one time in the New River, probably colonial area that I have. I restored it with electrolysis, stuff like that. So you never know what you're going to find. It's fun. It's like fishing, except for the magnet.
Yeah. All right, a statement, agree or disagree. So,
absolutely.
U.S. history, Appalachian history, a lot's been written about it. So you agree that we're pretty much done, have it all written about, we've got most of it covered, or disagree? You think there's a lot to talk about, look into that hasn't been really documented yet?
No, I think there's stuff still everywhere. I'm a big archival person. I like to go into old archives, and there's like always talk about these different places in Appalachia that like such and such happened here, but it got lost to history. It just needs to be rediscovered, and that's what my channel is trying to do a little bit with stuff like that. So,
well, how does somebody find your channel? What is it called, listed as? What's the name of it?
Yeah, so it's Appalachian_artifacts, and it's on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
Do you have any advertisers yet? You get a certain level of viewership, like this show. Do you have advertisers yet?
No, I'm small fry still. We're still working at it, but I've got.
It's fine. Same as us. We've got sponsors in the works.
Yeah, I hope we can sponsor you. I'll share you guys on mine, but I do have some good fans though, and they comment and like stuff, and they're very supportive. So I'm thankful for that. So if any of y'all are watching, thank you so much, and subscribe to this one.
Hey, Nick, do you know what time it is?
What time is that?
I believe it's MJ's Crime Corner.
Legal
Corner, excuse me.
All right, fans. I know I'm building a big fan base here. Time for MJ's Legal Corner. So let me highlight a code section that intersects with the university community. Unfortunately, so I know a few of our students have had a lot brush with public intoxication. People in college like to drink sometimes. That can be, for better or for worse, part of college culture. Unfortunately, sometimes people take a little too far and they get intoxication in public. So people might wonder, what is that? What is being intoxicated in public? What does the law say? Well, let me tell you. Code of Virginia, 182388, intoxication in public. Listening audience, it is surprisingly simple in Virginia. If any person is intoxicated in public, whether such intoxication results from alcohol or drugs, he is guilty of a class 4 misdemeanor. The end. So that's as simple as that. Unfortunately, if you're out and about and you're showing visible signs of intoxication in public, that's against the law. You can't be doing that. What you do in your own home is different, but if you're out and about, you need to keep yourself put together. So what does that look like here at Virginia Tech Police Department in reality? In reality, we know many people in college choose to drink alcohol. We hope all those people are over 21 and might be out downtown. And we're not trying to arrest everybody. We're not trying to arrest people. What we want is to find a positive outcome for people. Try and get your ride home, see if you can call a friend. But if you're not able to care for yourself, if you're disrupting everybody's night and there's no other option for you to find a safe ride home, you might end up going to jail for the night. And you're going to be kept there until you're sober. So try and be responsible, consume responsibly, go with friends, stay with friends, right? Hooky ready.
No hooky left behind.
No hooky left behind. No hooky left behind. So public intoxication, try and avoid it. That's the law on it.
Sometimes people will say, well, you didn't give me a Alka-Sensor or a breathalyzer. There's not a breathalyzer for drunken public.
No,
right?
Not like DUI. It's just if you're intoxicated, and of course we are trained on signs of that, like glassy eyes, odor of alcohol. Believe it or not, you smell pretty strong when you're that drunk.
Slurred speech,
unsteady on your feet. And unfortunately, if you get in trouble for this, you've done something to set yourself apart.
That was stimulating. I can't wait to hear the next MJ's Legal Corner. So
great.
Real quick off the cuff before we leave, I'm going to give you a couple of these. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Prepared?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Hors d'oeuvres or dessert? Which one?
Hors d'oeuvres. I'm a big charcuterie guy.
Okay. UFC or WWF?
WWF.
Glasses or contacts?
Glasses. I'm getting old.
Hot coffee or iced coffee?
I like them both. I'm a big coffee drinker. I like iced coffee, though, I'd say probably.
Water or sparkling?
Ugh, water. Just is.
And our last one is Italian cuisine or Indian cuisine?
Indian. I love some marsala. I'm about it.
Well, Nick, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you guys.
I'm sure you've listened to the other podcasts, right?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, we watched it in Excuse the other day.
Thank you very much. MJ, any final words?
No, thanks very much for being with us. Thanks for listening, audience, and we'll see you next time.